This Petticom brand went from 29k to 750k a month with Meta ads. And in this video, I'll show you exactly how we scaled it step by step and the creative system that made it possible. And this is the same system that we use for all our clients to scale to 1 million a month and beyond with Meta ads. And if you still run the same old UGC ads that like everyone else, you need to watch this and start implement this strategy in your creatives. So let's start. In 2023, in April, this brand was doing 29k a month when we started. Then we focused on the creatives and in general on Meta, on media buying, and on landing pages, but mainly on creatives, and that helped us to scale to 300k a month very fast. Then after that, we hit the ceiling and we couldn't scale past 300k a month. So what we did was changing our creative strategy and a few other tweaks, and that allowed us this year to scale to 750k a month, and we plan to grow to 1 million a month. So in this video, I'll show you the main levers to scale an e-com brand. I'll show you the situation before when we started, and then how we moved, focusing more on unaware ads to scale, and how we scaled to 300k a month and then hit the ceiling, and how we changed from doing the classic UGC creatives that are focused on angles and what we communicate to how we communicate it, to formats, and to adding a unique mechanism. Normally, in an e-com brand, we have a few levers we can use to scale, right? So this is like commerce growth formula. We can increase the visitors, increase the conversion rate, increase the lifetime value, and one part of the lifetime value is the average order value. Then you can reduce cost, and this will help you to generate more profit. So media buying, it's very simple now. We just use one simple campaign for each product. We increase or decrease the budget based on the results every day and based on our target for the new customer MER. Then creatives is what we really want to focus on. And creatives is what helps you to not just increase the CTR and decrease the cost per click, but also to increase the conversion rate. Obviously, if they see a video that explains the products well, they are also going to convert better. And one winning ad is not enough anymore. We had to move our process to actually find consistently new winning ads. Like, for example, PadLab Co. was the first one doing that, and that allowed them to scale to 100 million a year. And definitely that was one of the main things that helped us to scale, and I will go more in depth. CRO is another very important part we can focus on e-commerce to scale, and that's one of the parts we are focusing on to scale to 1 million a month. And then you have the LTV part and also the pricing. You can play with the pricing, you can decrease COGS and work on just adding more products or improving the products. So when we started, we had very traditional UGCs, nothing crazy, and the volume was pretty low. They had two best-selling products, actually worked well after we started to improve the creatives, but they had a low lifetime value. I can show the actual creatives, but I'll show you some examples of similar ads from other brands and also from other clients. So main problem was they didn't have enough ads. The angles were more or less correct, but weren't really mapped perfectly. And the execution was not good enough. And this is a trend which we saw 2 years ago. We see now the execution was not great. So we improved a lot the execution, we increased the volume, and then before it was easier, so we focused more on what PetLab Co. was doing also, and what the few bigger brands were focusing on. Then I'll show you instead how we changed our strategy and we created some different type of ads, because the market went much more competitive. But at the beginning, without doing anything crazy, just increasing the volume, hitting the right targets, the right angles, just doing more creatives, we've been able to scale to 300k a month very quickly. And we continue to add more buyer personas, more hooks, more pain points, different dogs in the creatives. And what we saw is that if we wanted to scale more, and we closed basically the year with 2 millions with about 400% growth, compared to the year before. If we wanted to scale more, we needed to go more to an unaware audience. So what happens is that as you scale, you can see that maybe you have product aware audience that works well, but it's not that scalable. So it's very important, and I guess most of you know about awareness levels. Many brands actually map them when they test creatives. So we map them, and we always try to go more unaware when we want to scale. You see the classic UGC ad is focused on comparing to other solutions or maybe talking about the problem. What we want to do here, and was working well for us, was something like, does your dog struggle to get up the stairs? And then we are introducing like, this is actually a problem. Or does your dog eat grass? Or just things like that are symptoms. And those are great to then introduce the problem. So you don't only sell to people that have a specific problem, but to everyone that has a dog, basically, and they see those symptoms. As I said, here we've been able to scale until 300, even 400K a month for 1 month. This was November though. But then we actually hit a ceiling, and we were doing about 150K a month, and we couldn't scale more, like 150 to 100K a month. It was much more than what we were doing this period the year before, but we wanted to scale more, obviously. We said, okay, let's focus on unaware ads. Let's change a bit the products. These products have low LTV, so we want to focus on products that have similar LTV. And we saw other brands like PetLab and others focus on supplements instead of the initial products we were using. And that allowed us to increase the LTV. And we started to look at more solutions of what we could do. But then we said, okay, let's actually double down again on creatives. We said, let's do more and let's do better creatives. We started to do 3 times more ads and focus on 3 products. And just adding more quantity, that's one thing that helped us. But then we also said, okay, everyone does the same type of ads. We are always testing the same type of formats, and that's what the competitors do too. So let's actually focus more on how we communicate those angles. We know what are the right angles. Let's also focus on how we communicate them and introduce different formats. And also introduce a unique mechanism to differentiate from our competitors. As I said, like, main thing was, let's differentiate from competitors. Let's start to do at least 10 concepts a month for each product. And let's do more and diverse creatives. And we also started to scale with several different buyer persona, different angles, different formats. And we moved from the classic UGCs to different formats that I'll show you. Some insights I want to share that are very interesting is everyone is very skeptical. Most people already see these ads and they might think it's a scam, that it's not like true, it doesn't work. And so you have to work very well. That's what we did on the unique positioning, on the trust, and making sure people can actually believe this is a real brand and you are better than competitors. Also, there are a lot of people that already tried these supplements and they didn't work for their dog. So something that we see working super well is also pushing the 90-day guarantee. We want to push it everywhere and making sure that people actually use them for longer, because that actually will bring the results. People will be happier, and you can also pay more to acquire a customer. Also, if you see a lot of brands like PetLab or Buffets, and most brands are profitable because they have a very high AOV or very high LTV. So we also focused on that part to make sure that we could also be more competitive and pay more to acquire a customer. And you can see something that worked also for us was that you didn't choose the quantity, you chose the dog size, and based on that you have different prices and different tabs. For unaware ads, another thing we saw working well was to match well the ads with the landing pages. So mapping them by persona, I'll show you later how we actually map them, and for each persona having different type of landing pages. We see advertorials working well. You can see an example here from PetLab. They have several of them, and we tested the 90-day guarantee. Definitely helped us a lot. And also the ingredients, showing why we have better ingredients and why this works, because our ingredients actually go target the root cause of the problem. And then we try to basically differentiate from competitors and introduce a unique positioning. Something we see is that if the ads have a low win rate, it often means that you probably are doing something wrong. You probably are not targeting the right message. And so we focus a lot on what stops our customers and how we can differentiate from them by basically avoid the messaging they ignore or sometimes even hid. Sometimes they are tired of hearing the same type of ads, same type of way of communicating a message. That can be in terms of the angle or the format. And I want to show you what we did in terms of creative strategy. So we created this creative strategy map where basically every month we do a research, we analyze, and you prioritize the ads to create. And let's say we have a few buyer personas, and one wants to prevent issues for their dog, and the other actually is concerned. We want to map these buyer personas and then the angles for each one. And then when we test them, we want to see, okay, this worked, this didn't work, and also why. And that helps us to then understand where we want to move and what we want to focus on for the next ads. We create something like this, basically, where for each buyer persona, we have all the pain points, awareness levels, and the angles. And also we saw that, let's say, a lot of classic UGCs are something like this.
3 signs of yeast issues in your dog's paws. Number 1.
And I mean, these still work. If you see PadLab code, they still do some stuff like this because this still has the VSL framework. So this is one of the few creative formats that still survived and it's still similar to what we were seeing a few years ago. But at the same time, even those type of ads with VSL, they work much better with different type of formats. And so if you see, even brands like PadLab Co have a lot of ads that are more similar to what you see on the feed now. I'll show you some examples.
The 3 biggest mistakes dog owners make.
So like with a vet,
he had tried everything for his fur baby's itching, so we gave him this new probiotic chew to try for 30 days. Here's what happened.
I saw your dog was just itching. Does that happen?
or like street interview.
As a dog groomer, this is the best hack for bad breath.
And you've tried toothbrushing?
Yeah, but he doesn't really like...
Babe, why did you lie to my face about brushing Rusty's teeth? I literally...
Or in POV style like this. And also that's what we are doing. I'll show you a couple of examples from our clients. So we focus a lot on, we see like having a vet or having someone that is an expert, an authority figure in the ads work very well.
The biggest risk to your dog's mobility is very likely due to some...
So we do some ads.
You don't need to be a vet to know that larger dogs...
Big dogs bring big love, but...
There are some ads we created for another client, also in the pet supplement space. And that's the type of creative we see working very well, that we do a lot of different formats too, like podcast, straight interview. And we see that this definitely has to scale because people stop and actually see the ads and actually watch the ad. They look much more similar to what they see on the organic feed. And that was one of the main changes that we did to scale last year. And at the end of last year, you can see here, we've been able to actually close the year with 3.6 millions. And this year we are at 4 millions now, so 100% growth. And we plan to scale past 7 millions. You can see in the last months, we've been able to scale to 750K actually in August with these metrics. And we plan to scale to 1 million a month with a few main things. One is creatives. We see that this system is working, and so we want also to put more effort on the other sides. Now, one big thing we are focusing on is the creatives and landings congruence. So making sure that actually we have different ones divided per buyer persona, and we test much more. And we want to continue increasing the conversion rate, the average order value, and the LTV, and also adding new products and improving the products. And we are also trying to add more barriers to entry. I hope this was helpful. I tried to go more on the strategic side. If you'd like me to go more in depth on specific parts and show you what we normally do to scale our clients, then just let me know and I'll show that in another video. If you want, you can download our free resources also in the link below on how we create better ads. And if you're spending more than 100K a month in ads and you want our help, then you can book a call with us.